Sound of rhythmic African drumming and ambient forest sounds fade slightly to the background. Ever heard of a kingdom so powerful, its art so breathtaking, that it left European explorers utterly speechless? A place where the streets were paved, the society was complex, and the king was a divine figure? No, I'm not talking about some fantasy from a Hollywood movie. I'm talking about the very real, very magnificent kingdom of Benin. Slight pause, music swells a bit. Nestled in the lush rainforests of what is now modern-day Nigeria, the kingdom of Benin wasn't just a kingdom. It was the kingdom. For centuries, from around the 11th century all the way until its tragic fall in 1897, Benin was a powerhouse of West Africa. Its capital, Benin City, was a marvel of urban planning. Early Portuguese visitors who arrived in the 15th century described it as one of the most beautiful and well-organized cities they had ever seen. They wrote about a massive wall, a moat system even longer than the Great Wall of China, and straight, wide streets that stretched for miles. This was a metropolis that rivaled the great cities of Europe at the time. At the heart of this kingdom was the Oba, the king. The Oba wasn't just a ruler. He was considered a direct descendant of the sky god, a divine figure who held both political and spiritual authority. The entire kingdom revolved around him. The succession, the rituals, the art. Everything was centered on the Oba's power and the continuity of his dynasty. And the art, the art is where the story of Benin truly comes alive. The artisans of Benin were masters of their craft, especially in metalworking. They created thousands of intricate sculptures and plaques from brass and bronze, a collection now famously known as the Benin bronzes. But these weren't just decorations. They were a library, a historical record cast in metal. Imagine walking through the Oba's palace. The wooden pillars of the grand courtyards are covered in these bronze plaques. Each one tells a story. This one depicts a victorious Oba returning from battle, his generals by his side. That one shows Portuguese traders, identifiable by their long hair and European clothes, presenting gifts to the court. Another might detail an important religious ceremony or a mythical creature from their cosmology. It was a visual archive, a way to document their history, their beliefs, and their encounters with the outside world for everyone to see. The detail is mind-blowing. Every scarification mark, every piece of coral bead regalia, every weapon is rendered with incredible skill. The kingdom's society was incredibly organized. It had a sophisticated political structure with various chiefs, title holders, and powerful guilds. The Guild of Bronze Casters, the Egon Aaron one, was so revered that they lived in a special quarter of the city and worked exclusively for the Oba. Their secrets of lost wax casting were passed down from father to son for generations. For centuries, Benin thrived on trade, both within Africa and with the Europeans who arrived on their shores. They traded palm oil, ivory, and pepper for brass manillas, which they would then melt down to create their incredible artworks. It was a golden age of prosperity, power, and cultural flourishing. But this golden age came to a brutal and devastating end. As the scramble for Africa intensified in the late 19th century, tensions with the British Empire grew. In 1897, a British delegation attempted to enter Benin City during a sacred festival, against the Oba's explicit orders. The ensuing conflict resulted in the death of several members of the British Party. The British response was swift and merciless. They launched a punitive expedition. They burned Benin City to the ground. The great walls were destroyed, the palace was razed, and the kingdom was shattered. And in one of the greatest cultural thefts in history, the British soldiers looted the palace, taking thousands of the priceless Benin bronzes with them. These historical records, these masterpieces of art, were scattered across the globe, ending up in museums in London, Berlin, and New York, and in private collections. For over a century, the people of Benin have been fighting for their return. It's a story of loss, but also of incredible resilience. The legacy of Benin isn't just in the stolen art. It lives on in the spirit of its people, in the Oba, who still holds a traditional role today, and in the global conversation about justice, restitution, and the right of a people to reclaim their history. So the next time you see a Benin bronze in a museum, remember it's not just a sculpture. It's a stolen page from the magnificent, complex, and powerful history of the great kingdom of Benin. Drumming and ambient sounds swell and then fade to silence,